Well, people in Hopkinsville, Kentucky are picking up the pieces tonight after a strong storm toppled buildings and even knocked out power. Fox 17 News' Justin McFarland heard from some of the storm victims who were caught off guard. Justin.
Yeah, Maggie, you know, in the aftermath of these storms, it's always difficult to take in all of the damage. People pour in so much into their homes and businesses. In some cases, it took them years to build, but just seconds to destroy. The twisted metal being dragged down the street in Hopkinsville is what's left of the Marathon gas station belonging to Hema Patel.
No warnings whatsoever. There was only flash flood warnings what we got.
It wasn't a flash flood that took down her business. It was strong, high winds that sent gas pumps flying.
My gas pump, everything blew away. Inside, the roof caved in, whole water line, everything's busted. It's really a disaster behind the register right now.
And she's not alone. Some yards are missing trees. The Southern States Co-op is missing a wall. Unfortunately, sites like this are becoming too familiar for residents like Brooke Luckingham.
I think I'm getting too accustomed to natural disasters.
Luckingham says she's one of the many who went to volunteer to clean up from other storms in the area, like the ones that hit Waverly and Mayfield. But now it's her hometown that needs the assistance.
It's heartbreaking, especially in this community here. It's a poor community, and I just hate seeing this here.
No one wants to see it here or anywhere else, but the cleanup and comeback for storm victims like Patel is already happening.
Just keep us in your prayers and see what we can do.
Well, Hopkinsville authorities say that there were no injuries associated with this particular storm. The National Weather Service will have to determine whether or not this was a tornado that hit Hopkinsville.
The Tennessee Department of Health is slowing down its coronavirus data updates. State health leaders will soon transition away from daily case updates, instead sharing new data on a weekly basis. Fox 17 News' Jackie Del Pilar joining us now. And Jackie, this comes as the state is in the middle of a surge of new cases.
This change is coming as a shock for some, especially as the Omicron variant spreads so quickly through the state. But state health leaders say this change will help them lighten their workload and get back to their pre-pandemic priorities. You've likely seen this chart by now, a daily look at the ever-changing COVID case counts in Tennessee. The red line shows the ups and downs the state's experienced since March 2020. But the state health department says they're now moving away from this daily model, instead sharing COVID cases, deaths, and hospitalizations once a week.
We do it daily, and there's nothing wrong with doing it that way, but that's not a sustainable way to do it in perpetuity.
State Health Commissioner Dr. Lisa Piercy says the change will help the department better balance its COVID workload with its pre-pandemic priorities.
It's exceedingly clear. There's not going to be a date and time where this goes away or where we don't have to worry about this or work on this for quite some time in the future.
The change comes as the state experiences a surge in new cases. The latest data shows more than 14,000 new cases in just one day. So we asked Dr. Piercy, does this leave Tennesseans flying blind while cases continue to climb?
It shouldn't change a single thing that you do. So whether cases today are 2,200 or 2,900, it shouldn't change your day-to-day actions at all. So it really is irrelevant if the number today is 300 or 400 higher than yesterday or lower than yesterday. What we want to look at is trends over time.
These changes could start as early as this week. Dr. Piercy says the daily case counts are becoming less relevant as at-home testing becomes more popular because those at-home test results do not get reported to the state.
If you take a look behind me, you'll see this is just one of many recycling bins completely full of cardboard, and it's the only option people have right now. And community members I spoke with tell me they're frustrated. There was no backup plan. Chuck Harper lives in Donaldson. After calling several times, his trash hasn't been picked up all week.
My big issue is with the 37% tax increase on the property, I expect trash service.
Metro Water Services announced the temporary suspension of curbside recycling just as its private contractor Red River declared bankruptcy. But Harper's main issue, where's the oversight from Nashville?
Were contingency plans in place to cover that? Did they have it ready to go? Why did they get caught flat-footed?
I took Harper's concerns directly to Metro Council member Freddie O'Connell. O'Connell shares Harper's frustrations.
Why we can't pick up the trash and why we had no solution in place. I'm scratching my head about that part too.
O'Connell says typically you wouldn't look at a company's financials for just a procurement scenario.
Because this has now reached bankruptcy, you better believe Metro Legal and Metro Water are in there asking those tough questions.
O'Connell says the city could have purchased some extra vehicles and gotten ahead of this sooner. Like Harper, he'll wait and see what Metro leaders decide to do.
Why are we paying for supposedly world-class service, because Nashville now is a world-class city, but we're not getting that kind of service?
I reached out to the mayor's office to ask if leaders will have a backup plan so this doesn't happen in the future. I am still waiting on a response.